And we're back on Inside Black and Gold. Jeff Nowak here alongside Steve Geller, hanging out on Radio Row, getting ready for Super Bowl 59. A lot of folks hanging around. Got a chance to catch up with Saints kicker Blake Grupe, wandering around today. Here you go.
Blake, thank you so much for the time. How you been doing? Enjoying Super Bowl week, man?
This is crazy how many people are here. I know this is only Monday. And I've been told that it heats up throughout the week. But yeah, this is awesome. We've been busy all day doing stuff. It started off this morning over there. We did I did the coin toss for a wheelchair, all-star wheelchair
great.
football league. I mean, crazy, huh? Those guys are getting after it in there. So it's been an awesome, I know this is only Monday, and like I said earlier, it's going to heat up all week. But this has been an awesome event so far.
Blake, you know about some cold weather. What was your reaction when you saw 8 inches of snow in New Orleans last week?
I was confused what state I was in, I think. We've done a lot of these today, but I was talking about it earlier, and I said, it's up in South Bend, 8-10 inches of snow. That's just a Wednesday in January. You go scrape off your car with your ice scraper, and you go to class just like anything else. But that shut it down here. I went out there with my girlfriend, and we made a snowman. We made all kinds of stuff. So I bundled her up. She didn't have no winter clothes, snow clothes, obviously, and I had some of my hunting stuff. So we figured it out. I showed her, I guess, how to make a snowman and all kinds of stuff. It was a good time.
It was funny. Like, for me, it's like I'm originally from New Jersey, so it gave an excuse to whip out the leather jacket, which has been in the closet forever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Looking at the Saints right now, obviously the head coaching search is a big, being talked about a bunch. The favorite everyone's been talking about right now is in town for the Super Bowl, and Kellen Moore. But one of the other candidates very well in Darren Rizzi, special teams coordinator, promoted to interim head coach. Mm-hmm. What can you tell us maybe about Riz that we don't know? Like kind of some stuff in the locker room that what kind of coach he really is.
For sure. I guess I would say when it comes to the head coach search in general, they ask me if I have any intel or insight, and I'm like, guys, if you want to know what I know, check Twitter.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, Darren Rizzi, AK's been pretty vocal as well.
Right.
I love everything about the way Darren Rizzi handled and led the team this last 8 games, whatever it was. I feel like with everything that was going on there, and for what that point we were at in the season, all you could ask for is for somebody to come in and lead the guys and get them to believe and bring that energy back. And I think at certain points of that run, you guys were able to see that. And so, I vouch for just as much as for Darren Rizzi to be the head coach, just of anybody else. I just finished year 2, so I'm not going to act like I'm no NFL expert.
Seniority over here.
Yeah, I'm no vet. I'm just trying to scratch and claw, to get into year 3. So, just the way that he handled things, and just the way guys, react to him and the way he runs things, it just seems to be different. And I would love to for him to get a real legitimate opportunity week 1 with a healthy team and a fresh start, and for him to be able to run things the way he wants to run it all year.
Having a special teams guy in charge, is there a tangible difference in terms of, like, I don't know, how he approaches the room, because he has all those relationships with everyone on both sides of the ball? Yeah,
and like you said, like both sides of the ball. And the cool thing about Riz is he's going to have like a legitimate friendship almost type relationship, not friendship as if friend, like true friend, but like he's gonna have a relationship with you. It's not like a coach parent or somebody that's just bossing you around. Like he's in the boat rowing with you type guy,
right?
And that's the best part about him, I feel like, because he's there's no questioning if he's maybe whispering. There's no closed door, there's no whispering. Whatever he's thinking, he's gonna tell you. Whatever you need to hear, he's gonna tell you. Whatever stuff needs to be done and changed, he's going to let you know. It's everything that we did and the way we operated for that second half of the season was open doors, honesty, just go out there and work hard and believe in each other, and the details matter, and that's just the way he coaches. That's the way he coaches special teams. No detail is too small. No, you have to be prepared, and I feel like I felt very prepared. Even just being a kicker, I'm not out there memorizing plays. I'm not out there doing any of that. But when it comes to just being prepared and the belief that you can go out there and do your job, I mean, I don't feel like there's anybody better to help you, find that in yourself. Obviously, I deal with him a lot, so he helped me through a lot, and he gave me an opportunity, and I'd go to war for that guy.
Blake, one stat that I feel like didn't get enough play this season that I ended up looking at for myself because I was curious halfway through the season. 6 kicks made from 50-plus yards. You're the first kicker in Saints history to do that. I think Will Lutz was the next closest. He made 4.
Okay.
And, it seems like as I watch kickers around the NFL, it almost seems like the confidence level goes up the further they get away from the goal. Like, you get out there from 50-plus outside of New York. There were a couple weird kicks that 60 plus whatever, I don't even count that. But what is it about those long kicks and kickers in general that it just seems like more so than ever? It's like if you get past midfield, basically you're in range.
I mean that people say the 60-yard field goal now is like what the 50-yard field goal used to be, however many years ago. So, like you said, in New York, we had. I think those. Now I think of it, those might have been my only 2 50-yard misses on the season, and 53. I mean, I guess the degree of difficulty of the test I was given that day was pretty high, given MetLife with the wind and everything, and I couldn't stop that 53 from going left. I aimed outside the uprights, but yeah, I mean that routine. I guess for me personally, a little different maybe than some of those other guys. I'm hitting the ball as hard as I freaking can, whether it's a 57 first field goal of the year or it's a 29 in Carolina this year. I mean, I'm swinging. I'm just letting it eat regardless. But other guys, it comes to maybe your routine. Like I feel like that 50-yard plus, I guess that stat that you shared earlier, I'm swinging. I'm hitting a 50-yarder regardless. And so, the routine, I guess some guys, we might sacrifice a little bit if it's an earlier. I guess what I'm trying to get to is if it's a closer kick and the routine, some people you might skip some steps, but just thinking it's a little closer. And so it's all routine based. I find that when I have any sort of negative or miss going on, it's usually something mentally up in that process going into the kick. It's rarely ever something technical, or it's a mental thing that leads to something technical. So it's a little different, and I know I'm talking kicker terms. You guys probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but you have to treat every kick as if it's own. I'm out there swinging every time hard, whether it's 50 or 30. I
have found that kicker terms and golf terms a lot of times go hand in hand.
Yeah, it helps you put the two together, I will say.
I remember Green Bay. Green Bay was obviously an awful day for a lot of people in terms of the game itself. But I just found your day funny because you went out there and you kicked the opening kick, and then I watched you on the sideline just warming up. Warming up. And the thing that struck me from that day in particular is you had an incredible warm-up in those temperatures, in that environment. You never got a chance to actually kick. And I guess my question is, how important, when you nail a warm-up like that, how much confidence does that give you going into a game? Like if you have a rough warm-up, does that maybe shake some things a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I think Tampa Bay, I was in a groove to finish the year, and I really felt like I was in a groove all year. But, that Green Bay, I will say it was funny. Like warm-ups when we first started, those balls are cold. And like when we were starting that warm, my foot was bruising. I was like, this hurts, Eventually everything warmed up, and I went back to 58, 59, in sub-30 windy conditions in Green Bay. I mean, I feel like that's all I can ask for is to be able to kind of pull some of that stuff off. But I didn't get to, I had one kickoff that game. Nobody will ever know unless, somebody talks about it and so, that warm up is very crucial. And don't get me wrong, I've had bad warm ups. I think I only had maybe one bad warm up this year. But what's funny is if I have a bad warm up, almost 100% of the time I'm having a great game. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a different level of focus going into the game. I don't know if you just mess up enough in the pregame where you figure it out.
Got all the negative stuff out the way.
Get it all out of the way. And so, me personally, when I have a bad warm up, I just give it a complete reset, because when we go back into the locker room and then we come out before the national anthem, that's when I truly believe is kind of like the start of my warm up. And when it obviously that really matters. You're 10 minutes for a kickoff or something. Right. But Carolina, I had 3 field goals. I had a 51 into the wind and a crosswind. That was a hard kick, and I freaking smoked that thing. But if you watched me in warm-ups, you might have wanted to bench me. And then that next day, on Monday, Mickey said, "I'm not gonna lie, you had me worried a little bit in warmups, you know." But I went out and had 3-for-3 game and hit all my extra points, made all my kicks, and so you never know. But yeah, that warmup matters. But even if you do have one, you ain't got no choice. You still got to do good in the game. So that's really what matters.
When did you realize you had this leg that you don't have the a huge size? You're not very tall, but you're able to generate so much power with your kick. How does that come about?
Yeah, I guess I would say leg speed.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's not many kicking metrics out there. Nobody really cares about it. But I would love to somehow figure out what my leg speed is compared to others. If say there's an average across the league, I would love to see what that, because obviously you have to make up somehow. And I would say my range of motion and how I'm able to operate and keep that leg speed at that range of motion, that has to be it. I weigh 150 pounds, and I've always found my own way somehow. Kicking's not a cookie cutter position, anyways, but I've always found a way. And they always told me when I was I was a freshman, they got on to me all the time about ball height, about kicking it higher.
Yeah.
And now I've pretty darn good ball height, and I'm sure that helped develop. Every step of the way, I've had to conquer something and figure it out, and so I feel like just this is I'm going on year 3, and so I'm sure there'll be some sort of trouble or some step of the way I'll have to learn to overcome this year. But every year you're going to get dealt a different deck, and you just got to figure out how to do it. And so that's kind of what you got to do.
Maybe if you go over to like a Top Golf and they let them convince you to kick a couple of those.
Strap something to my foot or something.
Maybe open it like a Top Golf kind of place for kickers.
Yeah.
There you go.
They actually have TrackMan, just like for golf. They have those for kicking, but I don't think it has ball speed, it has apex, it has spin rate, it has all kinds of stuff, but I don't think it actually tracks the leg speed, which is what I'd be interested in. So, I don't know, maybe one day.
Right.
Maybe one day we'll get lucky.
Gotcha. One thing that doesn't seem like it's going away is the new kickoff. We've talked a few times about it, and it was interesting to see all the different types of kicks develop over the course of the season. I'm sure they're going to tweak a few rules here and there in terms of what the returners can do. And how did you get more comfortable with that as the season went on? I think I can't remember what. I think it might have been Washington. I can't recall. Like there was a big kick late in the game. You had been kicking a certain kick, and then you kind of broke out like a little squibber, and it knocked him inside the 10. I'm just curious. How did that go? Did you kind of learn a lot as the season went on?
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that was nice about having Riz this year as our coordinator is he actually was the one pushing that rule.
Right.
And so, some teams said screw it and still kick touchbacks. I want to say us and Washington, actually, you said that. We were we had the 2 lowest touchback percentages, which means obviously they returned the most. And I think I want to say our average, I guess their opposing starting field position might have been the 2 lowest in the league. And so, we have a very good kickoff team. We got Anthony Orji, JT Gray, who should have been a Pro Bowler. And
amen to that.
We got some dudes down there running, trying to knock a guy's head off. And so my job is just put it right there around the goal line, if not a yard or 2 back, that we're trying to steal something. And, put our defense on the field with the best opportunity and keep them as far away from the end zone as we possibly can. That's what we can do. But then, those different kicks, they did develop as the year went on. There's certain situations where we do still want to hit touchbacks. There's certain situations where we want to go right, left, middle. I have a little ball that's kind of got a little swing to it, and every once in a while I'll get lucky and it'll knuckle something nasty. And sometimes they'll bobble it. Kansas City bobbled one. We had a couple this year that I got him good, and that's just a little bit of this kickoff rule opens up almost another playmaking role that we can fall into, and so it was fun being able to learn. I actually bounced some ideas off certain guys in the league, and when we were out in San Diego before the season, hitting some, I learned some from the Seattle kicker. But yeah, we all those different kicks are pretty fun to be able to. It was different as the season went on, and I think we got away with. We didn't have any that didn't make it into the landing zone or out of bounds this year. I had one that was darn close against Washington, and McCaffrey picked it up. He probably should have let it go. It was going out of bounds, but he grabbed it, so I got lucky there. I got to send him a thank you card or something. But yeah, we operated at a very high level on special teams this year, especially kickoff. And so it was really fun, and this new kickoff rule really played in, and we used it as an advantage, to develop an advantage for the Saints this year.
I have to ask about the tackle. I can't remember which game it was.
I don't know which one. Which one was it? Yeah, I actually had 2.
You had 2?
Only one of them was a legit tackle. My first NFL stat sheet tackle was against Denver.
Okay.
And I was just the closest one when Pro Bowl Marvin Mims just happened to step out of bounds. And so it's funny, I got credited for that one. First real one was against the Rams.
Okay, Rams.
That
yeah,
one,
yeah.
They broke it. Would have been in the 3-hole. We're talking specifics here, but anyways, I came to a point where I'm over top of the ball, and I saw their block pin, and the other guy pin, and next thing you know, I'm like, oh boy, this guy's coming. So I told myself always get low. As long as we cut him off from going down the sideline, that's our job. Obviously, I want to tackle a guy that's kind of fun, but in the moment, I just remember kind of lowering down, and if you think me lowering down, that's pretty low. So as I'm lowering down, the guy actually rises up to hurdle, and as I see him do that, I rise up a little bit, catch maybe his knee on my shoulder pad, and that was, I guess, my first real tackle. So that was a fun little experience.
My favorite thing about it is I went back and watched y'all 22, and you're just like, the tackle happened, just like, all right, just jog up the field. It was good.
Yeah, I was always just hanging over the ball, and there was a couple of them where I probably could have dove in there, but I didn't really need to, so I stayed out of it.
And just real curious, how did you end up honorary captain for this USA wheelchair football event?
Yeah, the Saints do a lot. I had a team this week. So obviously, there's a lot of events going on in the Super Bowl all day long. I mean, I could probably bounce around every table here all day long if I wanted to. But I had a team that with my agent and with my marketing guy here, and we pretty much, I told him, I said, anything that we can do this week that either helps out is like an event, a charity type deal, or anything that we can get our hands on this week, like, let's do it. And so he probably don't want to sit here and watch me do all these radio interviews or watch me do a coin toss, but it's been awesome. Why not capitalize on a great week like this? So got some interview stuff going on these next couple weeks. These next couple days we got there's a Steve Gleason Foundation golf tournament that's on Thursday out at City Park, so that'll be a great deal. I think it's funny, Sean Payton will be there, Lutz will be there, Hartley will be there, Morstead will be there. So It'll be a big specialist reunion. But that'll be a cool event. We got another one on Friday morning at TPC. Great events, all kinds of stuff going on here, and it was pretty cool to kick off. And it was funny. It was the first NFL sanctioned event of the Super Bowl, and for some reason I was out there. So it was a good time. It was a cool event.
Definitely appreciate the time, Blake. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Thanks, man.